So far, we have covered most of the elements related to the heavy structure lab. There is one more popular machines that you're going to encounter in the heavy structure lab. Sometimes they put it at the material lab, which are normally put side by side to the structural lab, which is the universal testing machines. This is basically the testing machine that used to test the specimen for the mechanical properties. These are the typical universal testing machines. There are quite a number of manufacturers in the market, and their design may vary slightly, but basically are meant to conduct the tensile and compression tests. Of course, there are others, such as you do the adhesion test, pull-out test, bending test, and others. The typical UTM here, which is the universal testing machines, will have something in couple, which there will be grips to the specimen you would like to test, and this grip come in series of 2 sets, one at the top and one at the bottom, and it is very dependent on your specimens. You may use different grip for the bars of different size, or when you want to test the plate, the grip will be different. Sometimes there will be testing jig, something like this, for you to conduct the bending test, which can be installed to the UTM machines. It is basically a machine where each item can be moved up and down up to a certain capacity, and with built-in measuring instruments in terms of the loads as well as the displacements. This is another common type of UTM, which have dual functions, where you can conduct tensile tests here and you can conduct the compression test here. The only thing that is, you cannot do both at the same time. It is either for the compressions or for the tension. For more details, you may refer to your lab. The technician should be happy to help you. The considerations related to this UTM, it will be the load capacities, the type of load that can be generated by the UTM. There are static load, there are dynamic load, there are torque. You need to know the type of UTM here. You cannot use the static UTM to simulate the dynamic load, as it is not designed to. Therefore, you will need to use the right UTM to simulate the right load. You need to consider the grips here. We mentioned that different grips have different functions, and it has different range of the size of the specimens. It is not only for you know the availability of the UTM, which most of the university have at least one. You will need to check the availability of the grips. Without the proper grips, the respective test cannot be conducted. You will need to check carefully. You also need to check the stroke and to check your specimens, the maximum degree of elongations that can happen, or the maximum size of the specimen that can be used to ensure the specimens fail before the UTM reach its stroke limits. You will also need to check with the crosshead speed. Normally it shouldn't be quite fast, and this one needs to be complying to certain standards, as well as check for the spacing within the crosshead. Know the size of the specimen that can be tested by the UTM machines.